Hi, I'm going to share with you a layout that I am creating using the Documented range, which is the current feature paper for the Close to My Heart seasonal expression. So it's the August collection, and I'm using the Workshops Your Way kit. And in this kit we've got the documented paper packet, which I'm showing you here. So that's 6 pieces of paper with different patterns on each side and zip strips along the top that have a design or a pattern on it too. Comes with a pack of complements, which I'll use later, 4 sheets of cardstock, which is 2 linen, 1 saffron, 1 white daisy, the documented titles, and these are lovely wooden titles, and also the documented dots with some printed instructions. So I've got these photos that I've just printed off on the selfie. I had to print them twice because I remembered as I was printing that I needed to warm my photos up. I'm going to trim these using the smaller trimmer that we've got that came out with Story by Stacey range. These are about 29 New Zealand dollars. I'm just having a look for them here. Yes, they're 29 New Zealand dollars, and it's the mini photo or the photo trimmer. And it is super handy for cutting down the photos, getting rid of the borders on here. And because I print a lot of my photos with 2:1 using a collage app, so that they are littler, they're smaller, it just finishes the cut between them quite nicely, and you can see where you're chopping. So a super handy little tool. And I'm going to use the whiter side of the linen cardstock. To start with, I have the 3 photos here, and I sort of think that I will use them, but then I take out the bottom one, realizing that the story's in just the 2 photos and I don't need all 3. So I decide that I'm going to mat the photos that I'm going to use with the white daisy cardstock, and here I'm still thinking that I'll use the 3 photos, but I do end up dropping off one of them and just going for 2. Initially I thought I would use the pink paper in this range with the yellow bows, however I end up going for the purpley colours that definitely weren't my favourites in this pack when I first opened it up. However, it is the colour that seems to make the photo pop out more from the page, and the photo is one of the central pieces of what I'm documenting, so therefore I'm choosing colours that make the photo stand out. So I do play around with both of the initial pinky paper, and then I decide that I'm going to just go with the more woven look of this piece here. So I'm just trimming roughly around these. I just want some of each of the colours just to show through in the background as I layer up the paper on the page and behind my photos. And I love these little wooden titles, so that smile just fits perfectly with the idea of putting on makeup in the mornings, getting ready to smile at the students as they come into school. So I'm actually going to use both stamp sets that come alongside the documented. So this is the scrapbooking set, and I really love this little journaling block. I've actually used it on a few other pages previously. I haven't really used these words before, and then I realised that it fits perfectly inside the little space on the journaling block. So I'm going to put that in a little bit later on when I'm ready to put the layout together. Here I'm going to use some of the card making, or I'm going to use the card making stamp. So I'm going to use that larger flower. I'm going to use the foam side of the cutting mat with some white daisy cardstock. So here I'm just using the Archival Black ink. It is my current go-to ink. However, I am looking forward to one of the new black ink that's coming in our holiday expressions that will be starting on the 1st of September. So I used the thin cut through the through the Cuttlebug here to cut these flowers, and I'm not going to colour them or anything. I actually quite like the black and white flower just peeking through. But to hold the thin cut on the stamped image, I just used a post-it note over the thin cut and the image to hold it in place so that it would cut it nice and evenly. I would sometimes actually cut first and then stamp, because our clear stamps are brilliant for that, but I just did it the other way around this time. So I'm going to put that little journaling block on the layout there just before I stick it all down. It'll help me anchor the page and know where I'm going to stick everything. So I'm just sticking on the word documented on one of our smaller blocks, and I'm going to just stamp that and I have put the foam mat underneath the back there, and I'm just going to stamp that in that wee gap. Okay, so now I'm ready to stick everything down. You don't need to see that. I have just put a couple of strips in each layer so that there's room for me to poke in the likes of this flower behind the layers, and I didn't do it right near the edge so that there is room, just room to poke bits and pieces in and through, so it's not all that flat look. So just to give it a little bit of depth, and you'll notice that I tucked one behind the second last piece, one behind the top piece, and then one just under the photos, so that again's just adding to the different layers. Popping out the little bits and using our glue pen here just to stick down the other cardstock complement shapes that came in the pack. So the little glasses. Now I do wear glasses, so it did seem fitting to put this. They're kind of the final piece that goes on after the makeup on my page. So this layout is essentially about sort of the everyday cleansing and moisturising and the makeup that I put on each morning. And I love these World Organic cleansers and moisturisers and the makeup. There's just something really nice about putting them on, not just the way they smell, and that's what makes me smile in the mornings, but also in the sense that they are mostly natural products, and we think carefully, well, sometimes we think carefully about what we're eating and what we're putting into our bodies, but the skin's one of our largest organs and it can absorb so much more than we realise. So being aware of what we put on our skin and things like that is something that I've grown to appreciate, especially with teenage daughters. So here's my page and just a shot showing the layers. Hey, thanks for watching. Bye.